Good morning. It happens to be a Monday morning. What we're going to do, you see on the screen, this is a project that is very similar to the crank arm that we'll do later in the semester when we do the engine block project. We look at it, we can see some circles in it. So at this point in time, we are doing the sketch tool, circle tool, and the 5 circles associated with that particular tool. And this will be our project associated, or one of our projects associated with the circle tool. So we're going to walk through how to complete this project. Looking at it, we've got, you can see, we've got a couple circles in place here, here. Got a couple arcs. We haven't learned the arc tools yet. If I were doing this project later, I would probably use a center arc, starting from the origin, and draw my 2 arcs. You can make out that there's a second one here. We've trimmed away a lot of or what you would see at the top, or joined it with other components of the design. Let's go ahead and get started looking at our dimensions. So here we are. We're going to create a sketch on the front back plane. Right here is going to be our origin. We've got 4 circles in this initial sketch. We've got one here with a radius of 17.5. As I mentioned a minute ago, when we are doing this project later, when we're doing our engine block project, we'll have covered all of our sketching tools, and you'll be familiar with the arc tool, and you'll probably use the arc tool here, a center arc with a radius of 17.5, and then the second one will have a radius of 32.5. As we are aware, if we're going to use the circle tool as we are today, the diameter will be twice the radius. We know it's the radius because it's got that R in front. Okay. Our second pair of circles are going to be up here. Our inner circle, we have a diameter of 30 millimeters here. And then the outer circle has a radius of 25 millimeters, meaning that it's going to be 50 millimeters in diameter. Those circles, the center of those circles, are 100 millimeters apart. And I'm going to add a horizontal or a vertical constraint tool. Now, the lines. We have this line coming down, and it joins with this arc or circle down here. We know that the line, well, let's look at it. This line's 10 millimeters from that line. That means also that that line must be parallel to that line. And we know this angle is 100 degrees. So here, where the circle is 35 millimeters across, we're going to draw a line at 100 degrees down till it joins with this circle down here. It will show how we figure out where the circle's 35 millimeters across. Okay, but we're given the angle here. It's 100 degrees. This angle runs parallel, or this line runs parallel, so it must also have an angle of 100 degrees. We're going to do this design in the second sketch. It'll be after we extrude our initial shape, 15 millimeters. And our last step will be to add these these elements down here. I've provided a sketch, which are where the crank arm would bolt to the cap. We'll do it a little different in the final project. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Move this over. Let's create a new canvas and create sketch, front back plane. So the XZ, here we are. Let's draw our 2 bottom circles. center diameter circle. Create circle, center diameter circle. There's the shortcut, keyboard shortcut of C. Click on the center. My first circle is going to be, let's say, 17.5 in my radius, so it's going to be 35 millimeters. Enter. My second circle has a radius of 32.5, which will be a 65 millimeter circle. There's my two circles. Above it, let's draw our next two circles. I'm going to just spot right here. The inner circle has a diameter of 30 millimeters. The outer circle, 50. Okay, now let's position these two circles. First thing I want to do is let's make the relationship vertical. So I've opened constraints, horizontal, vertical constraint, the center of this circle or this pair of circles to the center point of this pair of circles, and they are now horizontal. I'm going to escape out of that tool. I want to dimension these two circles. They're going to be 100 millimeters apart. Okay, so there's to here, 100 millimeters. Sketch dimension tool, create sketch dimension. Here's the shortcut. All right, center of that circle, center of this circle, so a pair of circles. I just happen to put it on 100. And there we are. All right, now we don't need this full circle here. Like I said, later I'll expect you to use the center arc to create these shapes, but we're going to draw a line across the bottom. So let's take our line tool. Let's find where we are on the axis. Okay, we could just start at the origin, come straight across. There we are. There's the line tool going that way. Move my design over. Line tool again. 0 degrees. There we are. Escape. So now I have this enclosed shape. I also have this enclosed shape. And down here, don't need them. Let's trim them away. So modify, trim. Let's start removing these lines. I don't need these interior lines. And now I have one enclosed shape down there. Okay, the next item, we need to draw lines connecting our two pairs of enclosed shapes here. Now we know this line starts where the circle is 35 millimeters apart. A couple ways that are easy to determine this. I could go create rectangle, center rectangle. From the center of my design, draw a rectangle that is 35 millimeters wide. Okay, and where it intersects the circle would be the starting point for my lines going down. I could also just simply take a line, draw a line, line tool. So I'm on the edge of the circle. Okay, get the blue X, click. I'm going to come straight across at 180 degrees. There I am on the other edge of the circle. So I've tied my line to the edges of the circle. Okay, one of the reasons I put the vertical constraints on the two circles is because this circle will have a tendency to move as I go set a dimension to this circle. So if I select that, create sketch dimension, if I create a dimension for this line, if I set it, there it is, it's at 40, a little over 40 now. Let's set it to 35. It comes down along the circle where it's touching each edge, connected to each edge of the circle at 35 millimeters. Because I got that blue X, started my line on the edge of the circle, Fusion is assuming I want to stay on the edge of the circle. I set the dimension of the line to be 35 millimeters, so it moves the line down where it's 35 millimeters across. If you don't have these vertical constraints in place, often this circle just moves to the right, messing up my design. All right, so let's open the line tool again, create line, where my design, there's my into my 35 millimeter line on the edge of my circle, click. I'm going to start down. I'm going to tab to my degrees, set it to be 100, and I'm just going to come straight down till I make contact. There's blue X. I've made contact with the bottom arc, and there it is. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Line tool, there's where they join, click, tab to my degrees, 100. Hold on, get this right. There we go. There's my blue X. Click, escape. Okay, so my shape is starting to take form. Let's get rid of this interior line here. So let's trim it away, modify, trim. I remove that line. Let's go ahead and remove that line. Close the tool tool, modify, trim. Now, that line is part of my design. I don't really want that part of my design. I should have drawn a construction line. It's not a problem. I've selected the line, okay. I'm going to hit letter X on the keyboard. Not select. There it goes. I must have not had it selected. Not sure what I was doing, but there we are. We now have our enclosed shape. I'm going to extrude it, so I'm just going to, you can finish sketch and open extrude, or you can just hit the keyboard letter E for extrude. It finished the sketch for me. Select my profile. Change it to the home position. We are going to extrude 15 millimeters and click OK. I got that 15 millimeters from right here in my design. There's the 15 millimeters. Okay. Now, the next, actually I need that back. The next step is we're going to put these cutouts in place on our design. Where am I time-wise? I'm almost out of time. Okay, I'm going to stop this video here. We'll pick up in the next one.